Welcome back to this week's episode of TCTC Time. I'm your host, Arijha Wright.
And I'm Lily Ramos. First and foremost, Liberty students, you have an early dismissal tomorrow, Friday, February 11th at 11:40. Please wait for the announcement to be dismissed.
Bristol and Bloomfield have early dismissals next Thursday, February 17th at 12:40. Please wait for the announcement to be dismissed.
And Badger, you have an early dismissal on Thursday, February 24th at 12:40. Please wait for the announcement to be dismissed.
We're starting today's episode with a word from David Carpenter about esports.
Hello, my name is David Carpenter, and I am the lead captain for our esports team, the TCTC Titans. For anyone who's not aware, esports is competitive video games. Pretty much what that means is instead of football or soccer or track that you would do at your home school, here at TCTC we have esports. Just like any of the programs you would do at your home school, it works just the same way, only, we are playing video games. If just like, again, your home school, if we would reach regionals and then state competition, we would be able to earn cash prizes and rewards for our program to be able to succeed better in the future. Our organization, Ohio Esports, that pretty much runs the whole operation. They pick the games we play, for example, Fortnite, Smash Bros, Overwatch, Valorant. And those games are on their different designated days from Monday to Thursday. From that, it's really up to you if you would like to. If you are interested in this, then you would want to go down to the web app lab during your free time or lab. You must have a passing grade in all academics, enrolled in as a TCTC student, as we cannot have anyone from Warren or Lakeview that does not go to TCTC be a part of this. And you must have, just like football or anything else, you have to be able to put time into this. Just like anything else, after school, from 4 to 6 p.m., that is the minimum time you have to put in for your designated game. For example, Smash Bros. On Wednesday, Overwatch Tuesday, Valorant Thursday. If you would like to sign up, our captains for each game and Mr. Bozega will be able to reach out to you very quickly. This is pretty much our big thing that we do in our lab focused over the BPA. Some other questions that I usually get asked would be pretty much, where do I have to go? Because in our current situation with COVID, it's really in the air. Sometimes we would be at Kent State Trumbull, which is down the road. If anyone's not aware, it is the tech lab. If you are driving from TCTC on Education Highway, it is the building closest to that road. If we cannot, you will be told if we would be there or playing from home those days.
All right. This week, we decided to check out the Fire and EMS program for Program Insider.
My name's Chief George Snyder. I'm the Academy Commander of the Fire and EMS Academy here at Trumbull Career Technical Center. My initial education in fire and emergency medical services started at what was the Trumbull County Joint Vocational School, which is now TCTC, but it was after high school. This program didn't exist when I was in high school. I have an undergraduate degree in Justice Administration from Tiffin University and a Master of Public Administration from Arkansas State University. I started in August. I took over this program when the previous instructor, Mr. Jim Serenelli, retired. And that's when the program transitioned from being public safety over to the Fire and EMS Academy. I had started here as a adjunct instructor with Howland Training Center who was working with TCTC during COVID. At that time is when Mr. Serenelli had announced that he was going to retire, and they needed somebody to take over the academy and to rework it into what is now the Fire and EMS Academy. And that's what made me come in here, was I wanted the opportunity to take on that challenge. Some of the certifications that the cadets can earn when they graduate from TCTC include the Ohio Firefighter 1 and Ohio Firefighter 2 certification, the Basic Emergency Medical Technician certification. They can get the Ohio Hazardous Materials Awareness and Hazardous Materials Operation certifications. There's also 4 incident management certifications they get through the Federal Emergency Management Agency, and they can also get their OSHA 10 certifications. We're also looking to add more certifications next year with the evolution of the program. Watching these kids grow from just your normal everyday high school student to somebody who is career employable by the time they get out of here. Watching the excitement level, especially with the academy changing to what it has been to what it is now, that evolution of these kids getting better and better and better every day is really exciting to me.
Now for a quick word from NTHS from Ms. Scott and Ms. Tisher.
Good morning, TCTC. I am Ms. Tisher, and this is Mrs. Scott, and we are the two advisors for NTHS at TCTC. Many of you may have heard of NHS, your National Honor Society, through your home schools, but many of you may not know that there is also an NTHS, a National Technical Honor Society, which is specific for students in career technical education, as all of you are. The information that we're going to be sharing with you this morning is specific for juniors. Juniors, you should have received an email yesterday from me that has information that we're going to be going over in more detail here this morning. So feel free to check that out, and then we'll be sharing with you more specific information as we progress through this morning's show. NTHS is an organization that recognizes outstanding students specifically in career technical education. It promotes scholastic achievement and personal excellence in students with the hope of promoting students in their career fields and also into their post-secondary endeavors. Some of the benefits of NTHS, first of all, of course, it is a resume booster, but it's much more than that. Some of the other benefits include scholarships, specifically for members of NTHS. The national organization gives away over $300,000 in scholarships every year. A second benefit are letters of recommendation. Those are used for students to gain employment, admission into colleges, and for scholarships as well. A third benefit of NTHS are opportunities for service, both in the school, specifically TCTC, and in the community as well. There's also benefits of recognition in the TCTC induction ceremony, which is held each spring, in the TCTC completion ceremony, and in your homeschool graduation ceremonies as well. Students are given honor stools as part of their membership, as well as graduation tassels, diploma seals, a lapel pin, and a membership certificate. Mrs. Scott is going to give you some specific information now about the application process here at TCTC.
One more slide. Okay, so criteria to be a member or even apply for NTHS include having a GPA of 3.0 or better, a 90% attendance rate here, specifically at the TCTC, no borders to graduation such as credit deficiencies, and you must have a clear path to graduation. You need positive teacher evaluations as well as completion of a successful panel interview. When you fill out the application, there will be a link to a Google form, and that has been sent out through email, so any junior should have gotten an email to give them the opportunity to fill out this Google form application. And we encourage you to be very thorough with your application, right? This is a good time for you to brag about yourself, to highlight all of your accomplishments from 9th and 10th grade, and be very specific in what you highlight so that we can see all that you have done. The applications are due February 27th, so you need to submit those and get those going. If you have any questions on any of the information on the application, please feel free to email Ms. Tisher or myself, and that those emails are provided in the presentation that you will be given through the email that notifies you of the application process. Once you fill out your application, you need to request all of your teachers, that would be your 3 academic teachers and your lab teacher, to fill out a teacher evaluation. Now, it is your responsibility as a student to ask your teachers to fill these applications out on your behalf, okay? Those those teacher evaluations are due March 9th. So once you fill out the application, you let your teacher know. They will fill out your evaluation on March 9th. Ms. Tisher and I will gather the information from your application and your teacher evaluations and make the determination if you will then move forward to the panel interview. So once we look over your applications and the teacher evaluations, you will get a notification of an interview time, and that will be on March 22nd. During that interview, we encourage you to highlight any leadership opportunities that you have had in your high school career, any involvement that you have in sports, in extracurriculars, inside of school and outside of school. Maybe you participate in Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts. Maybe you are very involved in your local community, your church, you volunteer at the fire department. Those are all things that you need to highlight on the application and in the interview. Community service is also something that we look for. Your conduct in your interview, how you conduct yourself, and your professionalism. We strongly encourage you during your interview to dress appropriately. Anyone who has an interview for NTHS on March 22nd will have the opportunity to dress up out of your TCTC uniform, and you will be able to dress professionally for the interview. And we encourage you to do so. If you have any questions about the interview process, if you have any questions about the application, the teacher evaluations, just let one of us know. You can stop by the media center, you can stop by my room anytime, or send us an email with regard to any concerns you may have over the application process. But please make sure that you meet the criteria before filling out your application. And again, that's a 3.0 or better, and a 90% attendance, and no barriers to graduation.
As far as the acceptance process goes, once we have made it through the rest of the process, we have received your application, we've reviewed the teacher evaluations, you've sat through your panel interview. Mrs. Scott and I will then apply your scores to a rubric. The categories that are scored on that rubric include GPA, attendance, the quality and thoroughness of your application, service involvement and leadership that you share both on your application and in your interview, your overall interview skill, and your professionalism at the interview, both in your conduct and in your attire, as well as your teacher evaluations. Once we have crunched numbers, then we will notify all applicants of their acceptance by April 1st. As far as dues and deadlines that are coming up, there is a membership fee for NTHS, but through fundraising efforts that students undertake, NTHS is able to pay for that, so there is no fee for students to be involved in NTHS. Just to review the deadlines that we've discussed already to this point, applications are due February 27th. All students who apply are encouraged to ask their teachers to fill out the teacher evaluations by March 9th. We will then notify students who are eligible to move forward in the application process of their interview, which will take place on March 22nd. And then those acceptance letters will be sent out by April 1st. The induction ceremony is a formal ceremony that will be taking place in person this year at TCTC, and that will be on the evening of April 28th. Reservations are required just so that we can make sure to have the appropriate amount of refreshments and social distancing and those kinds of things, and those RSVPs are due by April 15th.
So we strongly encourage all of you juniors to check your email and look for the email regarding the NTHS applications, and we hope to get lots of them and to see you at the panel interview.
Thank you. As Mrs. Scott said, you can contact us for information. Another good go-to are the current senior members. And so ask your lab teachers, ask people that you know are leaders in your program. Chances are they're involved in NTHS. Let us know if there's anything that we can do to help.
We decided to interview Miss Sommers for this week's episode of Teacher Feature.
My name is Courtney Sommers. I teach Math 3 and Math 4 here at TCTC. So teaching was actually not my first dream job. I didn't know what I wanted to do after high school, as a lot of students don't, and I think that that's okay. I did an exploratory year in college. I decided it wasn't for me. I got my cosmetology license, and that's kind of the creative side of me that I like to explore. And then I decided to go back to college just because of my love of math. And so I went into teaching because I loved the subject, and later learned that teaching kind of chose me because math is the last thing that I do some days. The most important thing is the students in my room and what I learn from them each day. So I kind of feel like teaching chose me, and it was not my first choice. When my students get unmotivated in class, there has to be a reason behind that. So I think the first thing to do is to just talk to that student, get to know my students, and try to build a relationship with them, because there's always a reason. There's a reason that kids act out, there's a reason that kids are unmotivated, and you never know what's going on in a student's life. You know, just the age of 19 to like 22 is a time I would never want to revisit, and I think that it takes a lot of strength for students and kids nowadays to navigate their path and to stay focused and to stay on track, and they don't get enough credit when they do. It's just, I would encourage those students and kids in that age range to put themselves first, make themselves a priority, really find who they truly are, and ignore the rest of the world. Why did I choose TCTC? So other than the fact that I really needed a job, I really feel like TCTC chose me because I was in college and they give you a placement to student teach. You don't get to pick. And so I was placed to do my student teaching at TCTC. And that's when I fell in love with TCTC. I was fortunate enough to be able to interview and get hired the following year. So I've always been here. And for that reason, I feel like TCTC kind of chose me. But my favorite thing about teaching is the students. And that sounds so cliche, but it really is. You know, I started because I loved math, but then I found out a greater passion, and that was making a difference in the daily lives of students. When I get unmotivated, I try to remember that that happens to everybody. I try not to get into a mental state of pity. I try to stay focused and to work hard and power through it and rely on the people that support me in my life. If I were to describe my job to someone outside of TCTC, I would really stress the fact that education is not what it was 10, 20 years ago. I think that education has really evolved to become about the individual student, as we have learned the individualities in the different ways that students learn. There's not a one method fits all type of way anymore. And education has really become about building relationships with kids, learning how they learn, and motivating them within your own classroom. And that's the biggest challenge every day, and trying to make an environment where students feel comfortable to ask questions, to make mistakes, and to know that that's supposed to happen in order to learn and to grow and to become more. And I don't think education is at all what people think it is, at least not here at TCTC. I think the environment here at TCTC is great representation for students of what life is like after high school. You see people from different towns, different communities, and different cultures all coming together to support one another and to learn how to work collaboratively. And it really shows a sense of maturity for the students here, choosing to come outside of their comfort zone and mix with people from different cultures. And it's a growing experience, and it's, you know, it's a benefit that they have that other schools don't. I do really just think that I am lucky to come here every day.
Finally, a quick word from FCCLA.
Hi, I'm James Curry.
Hi, I'm Kaylie Payton.
And we are from FCCLA. We have a couple announcements today. First, there is an animal shelter community service drive going on that is extended till next Thursday. There is boxes in each program showing a list of items of what we need, and that monetary donations are accepted, and the program that donates the most amount of items will win a pizza party.
FCCLA is also doing a Candygram fundraiser, and each bag is going to be worth $1, and that will last today and tomorrow.
That is all the time we have today for this week's episode of TCTC Time.
We will see you again next week. Have a wonderful Black History Month.